Woo! So my cross member has arrived. Now I've got these sitting next to each other just so you can see the difference. So this is the one to suit a 4L60 into the VN, and this is one for a Turbo 350. So if you're handy with a welder, you could probably get this one to work just by adding a bit on the back because the transmission is shorter. But I'm not handy on a welder, and it's much easier to just buy one off the internet. Now I got this one from Racecraft. It came really quickly, like 2 days from interstate. So during these crappy postage times, that's really quick. So the good thing about this coming is I can finally get, obviously, that in the car, but it puts the transmission and pretty much everything where it's gonna finally sit. So I can do up engine mounts, I can do the cable for the transmission, I can see if my exhaust is gonna bolt up, tail shaft length, I can get that steering shaft sitting properly, because now the engine's, well, who knows how it's sitting because I don't have a cross member in it. So that'll allow me to put everything in its final position, and I've been waiting just for this one part to do all that. So we'll quickly get this in, and we'll go from there, see what else we can bust out today. Also, this one for the 4L60 is for sale. I'll do it really cheap. These retail, I think, for $200 and something. I'll do it for $100 if you pick it up, or plus postage, obviously, wherever you are in Australia. So hit me up if you need a 4L60 cross member to suit an early Commodore LS conversion. Now, I've just gone to fit this up under the car, and it just touches right where I've got this white mark, the driver's side flange of the end of the header where it connects to the rest of the exhaust, and it doesn't allow you to slide it all the way over for the mount to mount in here. So I'm gonna have to give it a little bit of a trim and then chuck it back in, no big deal. So as you can see, that's what I've chopped out, because that's where the flange of the exhaust sort of sits. So hopefully this should fit up now. So after a bit of fiddling around, that's in. So this is the final resting spot, height of the headers, etc. And as you can see, this is where I had to shave it down, and it is literally millimeter gap. So perfect. Now the good thing about doing all this is I can finally put it on the ground and see what the new front height is going to be since I raised it when the engine was out. Now I'm sort of just putting along, doing all little odds and ends as I come across them. So all the spark plug leads are on. I've got the dipstick in that you can see here. That's in, and I'll mount it on the firewall somewhere. I got the shifter cable on. I just need to wait for my girlfriend to come home so she can sit in it and shift through the gears, and I can adjust it so it's spot on. Now because I'm going Astra Power steering pump, obviously all this stuff is going to be gone. Now the plan was I was going to get one of those low fabrication catch cans that sit here in the corner and is like takes up this whole sort of area, but I cannot for the life of me get a hold of them. They don't reply to messages, nothing. It's been like 3 weeks, messaged them multiple times, no reply. So I'm thinking I might still use this one, and with the power steering pump gone, cause going Astra pump, this could sit right on the front of the engine here, because I want to keep as much stuff off the sides as possible. Just everything in the center, the sides really clean. So I don't know, what do you think? Low fabrications one or the Aeroflow one on the engine? Let me know in the comments. Now one thing that really let the VN down before, as if you remember we saw on the dyno, because intake air temps got really hot, was the intake on this car. Now there's not really much options. There's no on the shelf OTRs to suit this conversion or anything like that. You can either run a stock airbox or just a pipe with a pod to wherever you want. But I really like the look of OTRs, so I'm going to see how good I can get an OTR to fit on this car. Now I have here a brand new VCM. This is the VT to VY plastic one, not the alloy one. Shopvcmstore.com.au. So it comes with everything here, the pipe, the OTR itself with a filter, clamps, and the most important thing, a sticker, which you need to add with all the other stuff that you buy. And I've also got the radiator back from Troy. So now both outlets are on the driver's side, and this one's blocked. So let's see how good we can get an OTR to fit, because most of the ones I've seen, they're all really shit. Like, yeah, just doesn't look right. So, you know, I could do the same. I haven't done it yet, so you're coming along for the ride. It could turn out shocking, but who knows? Let's see. Now, first thing I know I need to do is this sits too high. So this is for like a standard shroud. So I'm going to chop it sort of here. I'll leave a bit on the ends to still bolt shroud to, because the radiator sits too high for the OTR. So I'll cut that out, and then I'm going to sit everything in there and see what we need to do to get all this to fit. Alright, so after a lot of chopping, this is where I have got it to sit currently. So it's tilted back, say 4 of my midget fingers, which is not too bad. I thought it was going to be a lot worse, like the radiator was going to be right on the front of the engine. So what I've done is I've cut the lip off the bottom, because it wouldn't tilt forward far enough, and I've cut the lip, so front lip off the top, back lip off the bottom, just to get the OTR to sit nicely against the radiator. Now you want your radiator to sit as low and as far forward as possible. So this is without the grommets on the bottom. I will fit something to give it a bit of cushion. And another thing I'm going to quickly do, just to get it to sit as far forward as possible, if you'll notice on the front of the bracket there's a tiny little nipple there, and it will get it to slide forward like the tiniest little bit. Now the plans to mount it are very, very simple. What I want to do is, I want to retain these factory rubbers, so they'll go back in there where they're supposed to. Now these have a hole through the side and through the rubber itself. So what I want to do is cut a small strip of this, it'll be about 2 inches long, and it will go on the inside of the rubber with a hole sort of here for this nipple to sit in with a rubber grommet. Very, very simple. And of course there's 2 holes here on the lip for the OTR to mount to, and that's pretty much it. It's actually a lot easier to get to sit nice than I thought. I actually have sat the bonnet on too, and it just clears, like I'm talking a couple of millimeters height wise. Luckily the VN bonnet sort of goes like that in the center. If it was just flat, there's no chance. Now also for the people doing the VL radiators into VNs with an LS, bottom radiator hose. So for a hose to fit there to the bottom, it's actually a Ford Falcon EL 4-litre bottom hose and fits up perfect. That's the part number, if anyone needs to know. Fits up spot on. Now with these brackets, also you want to loosen off this nut and have the bracket sit as high as possible, so then the OTR sits as low as possible. So this is a little nipple, I don't know if it'll show. There you go. That I'm going to shave off, because every millimeter makes a difference. Am I right? Now all I'm going to use to mount the radiator is this flat aluminium bar that you can buy from Bunnings. Very flexible, easy to drill and work with. And you end up with these. So this end for the radiator, this end for the mounts. Very, very simple. And some of these. I'll show you how it mounts. So using the factory rubber as a spacer here, I'm not sure why people have these mounted usually really crappy in early Commodores, because it's so easy. Bolt through there onto this, and simple. So easy. One on each side, and the radiator mounted up, not going to go anywhere. And you can see here I've used the factory mounts that VCM supply with the OTR. I even got the rubbers back in the bottom, because I really did not want to run this with no rubbers on the bottom. That Ford hose on the bottom fits up perfectly. This one, I'm going to get a new one, because it was all swollen and had tears in it and stuff like that. So replace that top one, and that's pretty much it. So I'm very, very simple to fit one of these, you know, VT to VZ style OTRs on an early Commodore. You just lean the radiator back, same as you do with every other one. Mounts up the same as every other one. So yeah, I'm not sure why I've seen so many mounted like crap when it's so easy to do. So you should be able to see it through the grill, I'm assuming. So it should be a lot better than what I had before, with the pipe over here with the big pod filter sucking in all the hot air from the headers. So if you want to buy one of these VCM OTRs, I'll put a link down the bottom. You can hit their website, They're not super expensive. They're all pretty much around the same price. All the companies that do the OTRs, but this is probably the nicest looking one by far, I reckon. I'm not a fan of the alloy ones. You know, this has a factory grain in it. So yeah, head down below if you would like to purchase one. So that's it, all mounted up nice, all finished. Actually came out really good. I was really worried about this, that it wasn't going to work, and I wasted my time and money on this OTR. And for the OTR, big thanks to Sam at VCM. Go visit their store, vcmstore.com.au. Everyone knows who VCM is. I just need to test fit the bonnet again, because who knows if stuff's moved. I'm a little bit worried about the height of this, but it should be all right. Nothing a hammer can't fix there underneath the bonnet with a fresh paint. Also, does anyone know how to adjust the throttle cables on these? Super loosey-goosey, and I can't figure it out. Actually, you know, by the time you see this, because it's probably 2 weeks old, by the time you see it, I'll have already figured it out, so don't worry about it. So now I'm going to jack the car down on the ground as I want to see the new front height. It hasn't been on the ground since I put the engine in it, so I'm very interested. It's definitely higher. Limited space, but it's definitely higher. So if you remember, this had SLs all around. I went to just an L in the front, so one down from standard height. One, to combat the headers sitting so low, but two, I just like that look of sort of a bit higher in the front. It's been a long time since I've seen this car, all four wheels on the ground. I would love to be able to get it out and have a wash, but because my driveway is on a slant, if I get it out, I can't get it back in. There's no way you're gonna be able to push it back up, so I might just give it a wipe down here. This looks so good. Let me know what you think of the OTR route. It's actually come out really neat. I am a bit worried about the thermos though. I haven't tried to fit those yet, so I might need to get some really thin, like a thin alloy shroud, like some aftermarket fans, because now it had on it the BABF style ones, and they're really thick, so I'm not sure that's going to fit anymore, but we will see. Anyway guys, probably next week or the week after, I'm going to draw whoever's won all those beanbags. There's 5 of them, so 5 different people are going to win them. So just order some stickers if you want to go into the running for that. And thank you to everyone that has bought stickers. There's only a couple of hundred left out of the 1,000 that I had, which is really good. So actually, surprisingly, I just chopped a little bit off this hose, and this top one fits back perfect, exactly how it was before. And I just found these. I forgot about these. These are the clips that sit in here that usually hold the radiator down, which actually clip right back in where they're supposed to. I can't believe I got all the bonnet stuff re-anodized, and I didn't think to get these done. So if I do another batch, I'm definitely doing these. And now you can see how much better these headers sit. They still sit lower than the rail, obviously, being a 3-inch outlet. But before, with the 4x1s, the whole flange was down below the rail, and the front was lower. So I couldn't even get out of my estate. It was impossible. I had to like go up on gutters to go around all the speed bumps. So this should be fine now. We'll see in the future. So I'm slowly putting this loom back together. It's funny, your engine bay looks so good until you start putting the loom back on, and it absolutely looks shit. I wish there was like, everything could be Bluetooth. All your coil packs, everything, the whole loom, TPSs, all that. That would be fantastic, because wiring looks so shit. Makes a really nice engine bay look absolute junk. So I'm sort of going through, trying to hide what I can. I'm getting rid of all this conduit. It's so unneeded. It's like very 10 years ago. If you just tape it up nice, it'll be half the size of the conduit, because some of this conduit has like one wire going through it, so it's very unnecessary. So I'm just sort of trying to go through, clean up and hide what I can to make it look as good as possible. But unfortunately, wiring has to be there, so I just got to deal with what I got. While we're on the subject of wiring, I really should have paid attention to where everything goes. I'm no LS guru, so calm down guys, but does anyone know what the hell this plug is that comes out of the coil pack loom? No idea. There's nothing here for it to plug into, so I don't know, maybe it's just a phantom plug that doesn't do anything. Let me know in the comments if you know. And just another random question. So now that I've effectively made this into a VL radiator, do VL radiators have a separator here in the driver's side tank so that it forces water through the radiator first instead of it filling this side and just going straight back out. Random question. So let me know, because we might need to slice into the side of that tank and sort of slide a flat piece of aluminium in there and weld it in so it separates the tank, so it forces the water through the radiator and back out. I don't know, maybe that's a dumb thing, maybe it's fine the way it is. Let me know in the comments what your professional opinion is. Glad everyone enjoyed the videos of the Zafiro, but it has been put back into storage and we have the Evo back. It's summer, I want a car that I can drive, which the Evo is. I can just jump in it and drive it, not be worried. It's not like super low or super loud, anything like that. I can cruise around, no dramas, I'm not stressed. I still own the Zafiro, it's just gone bye-byes again. So, sorry guys. So I'm gonna finish this one out with something I've actually been dreading, just because it's so fiddly, and that is getting the shifter to shift exactly properly. It's fiddly because you got to figure out which pins need to be taken out for which transmission, which hole in the lever, and you pretty much got to have someone in the car shifting all the gears, and as it goes into each spot you need to pull the cable on and off the bracket in its position to make sure that it shifts freely and it's not going to bind up the cord, because the cable, because then you end up snapping a cable and you're just going to be stuck somewhere. I also want to heat sleeve it because it does run very close to the exhaust, so we're going to chuck some of that stuff on there too. I got a big roll because I want to do some of the fuel stuff as well. And just to show you some more dumb shit while I'm under here, so obviously your big power cable that comes from the battery goes down here, you know, wherever you want to route it, and down straight to the starter that you can see pretty much right there is the stud. So it goes right next to the headers. This is their heat proofing. Plastic cable ties, and a hose that's been cut to fit around the cable itself. Why can't people just do shit properly? So I'm going to heat sleeve that while I'm under here, and I may as well attach it too, so that's done, because it's in a really, really crappy spot. And this is where we're going to end this one. So that's it, it's all adjusted. As you can see, the cotter pin holding it all together, and the locking nut. It's very, very tight with these headers and this pan. Those adjusters were a real prick to do up. There's a heat sleeve so that I don't burn this cable. And a look underneath this car. It's actually come out really good underneath, nice and clean. Everything repainted. And I can show you better why I'm redoing these fuel lines. So that is not a good thing. As I said, they're going to be run down here, down this side, and up through here. I'm still waiting on a tail shaft. I should get that tomorrow or Monday. I'm not sure what next video is. It could be either doing the Astra pump stuff or doing all the fuel line setup. It'll be one of those, so but it will be VN content. Anyway, see you guys next week.